Welcome into Podomania 5 Part 1. Tonight, we're here to cover NXT Stand and Deliver predictions for tomorrow. At the moment, you got the three-man booth, myself, Donald, and Jason. The other one might be having some technical difficulties. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm good. Finally, WrestleMania weekend is here.
Felt like it was never going to get here.
Yeah, we're never going to get here. Boy.
We'll cover WrestleMania stuff, WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday over the weekend. Tonight, we're going to focus on the week that was so far and NXT. How you guys feeling, as we're getting into Mania weekend?
Not ready. Glad it's here. No more storytelling. Let's just get it over with.
It sounds like the NFL draft. All this analysts and all that stuff. Let's just you know what? Let's just start picking. Yeah. Probably glad it's here. NXT is probably the show that I watch the most. So I'm ready to jump into this card because I got some stuff to get off my chest with this.
Calling for the ISO, like Steve. You're out.
Just need to go ahead and do that right now. I don't know. Anything you guys want to talk about before we get into? Do you have a preference on you want to get into NXT first and then we'll cover the week that was, or do that and then get into the NXT stuff?
It's up to you. You run the show. It's your week anyway.
I got tomorrow. It's the people. The people one.
It's by committee today. By committee.
What we get in predictions?
All right.
We do that and then do the week of.
So predictions. We actually have a decent amount of matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 total. With one on the countdown show. So this is the unusual. WWE doesn't really do too many countdown matches anymore. So
that's weird on the takeover. The takeover on the Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, you can tell it's no longer a takeover.
Yes.
And it's a bogus match. Not bogus, but bogus they put in it.
It is on the countdown show. It's going to be a fatal 4-way tag match to determine the number 1 contender for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. You got Metaphor, Fatal Influence, Tatum and Gigi, and then Roxanne and Cora.
Multi-man mania, boy.
This is get everybody on the card night for NXT.
Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. The whole card.
Yeah.
I'd rather have this on the card than the family. In the dark state.
Understood.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I mean, you guys talk about the most that the women is exactly where it's at over the men. So
yes. It'll always be on the card or main event.
Yes, all the time, every time.
Did we get the official run in?
Who's running in?
The pod god is running in. You sons of bitches. I'm here. We made it. Podomania
7%.
Podomania 5 is upon us. We're here. Live.
No, we were here. You're joining late and acting like that the show's just starting. We were here.
Oh, listen, greatness always comes last. So that's why I was the last one to get on the show. Okay. Greatness always comes last.
Greatness comes last. It comes last.
I guess that's a change for you.
I got the nice Podomania 5 background behind me. Thank you, AI, for coming up with that. It's been fantastic. I got a nice glass, 3-finger glass pause of Angel's Envy, ready to kick off WrestleMania weekend. 4 shows in 4 days. I'm ready. I don't know about Jens, but I'm ready to go. Why do we just have one solid ass banner on the bottom of the show right now? What's going on?
It's the match. We're starting with predictions. You joined late. You don't even know what the hell's going on for NXT.
We were doing NXT tomorrow.
No, we're doing it. We're not doing NXT tomorrow. We're doing NXT tonight.
Pre-production text for no reason.
NXT will be over by the
Pre-production
time we
text
get
for
there to
no
do
reason.
NXT. We'll be recapping NXT tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yes.
We already had this meeting, but glad someone's paying attention.
How many fingers deep are you, man?
Look, I know you guys can't tell, but the way my face has like 3rd-degree sunburn on it, and my arms. I was at the Pirate game yesterday for my daughter, and her and her school got to do the color guard for the national anthem out there, part of the ROTC group. So went down to watch her and support her like a good parent does. Because it's Sunday, don't ask me for nothing. It's WrestleMania, baby. Family time's cut out this weekend.
All your best in now.
So give me my to-go plate, and I'll be down. I'll be downstairs watching Mania. But I got cooked. I got burnt to a crisp. Like so bad.
The other day and in the Pirate game.
Yeah, bro. Like so bad. I woke up this morning like I had all over, like my entire nose was like covered in just pus from it, like bubbling. Like I got roasted, bro. Didn't even feel it until we got up to leave, and I'm like, face is a little sore. I'm like, well, first true sunny day in Pittsburgh. We only get 13 of those a year. From the time we left the stadium to the time I got home, my face changed to like 7th degree red. I've never even seen this shade of red before, and was like 1,000 degrees. So I am in tremendous pain right now. Yeah, bad news right now. Bad all the way around. So the glass of Angel's Envy is well deserved because it's the only thing I can take to soothe my pain right now.
The missus isn't helping you with some aloe?
She was like, yeah, I can go get you some. Like, well, can or will? Like, there's 2 different things. You can do a lot, but will you?
All right. So we're covering NXT, and then we'll get into the week that was after this. So,
all right. Thanks for catching me up. I appreciate it. Technology got me jumping in late. Is this the first match that we're jumping into?
They're doing one on the countdown show. This is the first match. So
have you guys given your picks already on this?
Haven't done the picks. Jason was just saying that this should be on the main card, though.
Yeah. The fact that you have Cora and Roxanne on the countdown.
Hey, they're just helping out the talent now. That's all Roxanne's there for.
Yeah, she's rumored to get her true post WrestleMania plans and push are rumored to be in effect for Roxanne. So this will be like her 3rd swan song in NXT. Like who's had
on the pre-show?
Yeah, on the pre-show. Like
yeah.
Next thing you know, she'll be wrestling a match in the parking lot before she goes up to the main roster. Like just hit all of them on the way out. Main event, opening match, pre-show, parking lot, and then she can go up. Yeah. For me, I know they've already had some exposure on the main roster, but I think you got to go with Metaphor here and go with Lash and Jakira. Cora and Roxanne are the true tag team. They're not going to do anything after this. And I don't see Fatal Influence or Tatum and Gigi being in a position to actually challenge Liv and Roxanne or Bay and Lyra on who wins that. So give me Metaphor with Lash and Jakira. They've put in the work this year.
Give me Tatum and Gigi because man, I'll just give my pick. I don't believe Liv and thing Raquel are losing at all. So you need a face heel. You need a face heel to go with it. So
give me
and the tag team and the women's tag team championship is a joke. Anyway.
Tatum needs a push. She's too good in the ring. Give me Roxanne and Cora and make this their official call up, both of them.
Double call up. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna put Metaphor in it only because they're getting an NXT tag title shot next week. So I don't think they're gonna give both them 2 title shots in a row.
Yeah, I didn't realize that whenever I made the pick, so I'm the dumb mark. It's not paying attention to the call sheet properly.
So I'm gonna go. Yeah, they're gonna
Okay.
be on TNA Rebellion next week. So I'm gonna go with Donald, Tatum, and Gigi will be my pick. But Jason, I like yours if they do a double call up. All right, let's get this match out of the way. D'Angelo family versus Dark State.
To me, this was gold on Tuesday until Tony showed up. He's just like a wet blanket on everything.
This was like the worst.
I don't think it was.
This was like pro wrestling at its worst. It was pre-recorded. It was edited. Didn't make any sense. They went through the fake walls. Like, why is Tony D'Angelo calling the cops? Like, what logic does that? What sense does that make? There was a lot of illogical stuff going on this weekend. And Wednesday night, believe me, I was on a Twitter warpath Wednesday night, which we'll get into it later. But
I don't see a family ever being the snitch.
What? Yeah,
like brought in a bunch of dudes in blazers and in jeans.
Yeah.
Yes, that was my biggest issue with it. There, I was like, I don't need cousin Sal and Uncle Rico or whatever all in there fighting and just getting their ass.
You think Al Capone is calling the cops?
Oh, come on, man.
You think Tony Soprano is calling the cops?
Like Goodfellas would have been a different movie if, like, first 5 minutes they just called the cops instead of.
Yeah, you think Paulie's calling the cops?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Get that man.
Like, these writers know how to write entertaining shit, though. Come on.
But bro, like it just, it makes no sense. You've been teasing this supposed split between Tony and Stax. Dark State, like, do they even have contracts? They're supposed to be this rogue group, but yet they still get, lights, spot entrances, the whole 9 yards. Like, come on, man. I don't. And why are we running it back?
Because we talked about this already. Everybody gets a payday tomorrow.
Everybody. Give me
Dark State. Give me Dark State, and the official split will happen tomorrow. Stax will turn on Tony after the match and leave the family. Go off on his own.
Give me the return to 2 dimes, and then I'm still picking Dark State to win. Make it legit 4-on-4.
I'm picking Dark State to win, even though I don't believe in a guy named Sugar wearing overalls.
Whooping his ass, calling him Sugar.
I mean, if Dark State doesn't win, what's the point of them, right?
Yeah.
There hasn't been much of a point to them so far. So
that's it. Yeah. If they lose, they might as well just call them Retribution.
Yeah, I'm just going with Dark State for that reason. All right. Yeah. NXT tag titles. Fraxium versus Hank Waller and Tank Ledger.
I said I will not bet against Axiom again, but I'm betting against Axiom. Hank and Tank for the dub, new NXT tag team champions. They have actually told a consistent tag team story for 2.5 months now? 3 months now, right? You have seen this team that has gone from losing their identity, not knowing what to do, trying to be like every other tag team under the sun. Finally, the Street Profits talk some sense to them and say, go out and be you. Do your thing, be you. Stick to you. Know what you do best and do that. And they run this gauntlet and get this title shot. Fraxium can't hold the belts forever. Like, I'm sorry, they can't. They have to lose them at some point. This is a perfect spot for it. It would be unexpected, and it actually gives a quote unquote
fit.
story payoff to somebody that's actually has some character development applied to them in the tag team division.
Their matches are entertaining as all hell to me. I just don't see them as tag champs. They're just like they just remind me of the Nasty Boys. I don't know why. Maybe it's the baseball jerseys or whatever. They're gonna win it though. They're gonna win.
They're like a combination of the Nasty Boys, Public Enemy, and the Bushwhackers all rolled up into one.
That perfectly describes NXT.
Yeah.
Yes. Give me Hank and Tank. But the NXT tag division is falling into like how the women's division had a battle royal for number one contendership. They always run a gauntlet match for the number one contendership.
And why would you run back-to-back gauntlets? You just did it with Bailey and Lyra. I know it's a different show, but still. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's tag teams running a gauntlet all the time. They need to change that up. They're starting to pattern themselves all the time. We don't have nobody. Let's run a gauntlet.
But
you
did,
didn't even need the gauntlet.
But the gauntlet again tied into the story because they beat the teams that had beaten them the previous weeks. So
more sensible than Lyra and Bailey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I get we're running too many gauntlets. We're running too many of the same type matches across multiple shows. I get that, but this at least made sense in that regards where they beat who beat them previously. So yeah, I'll give them a little bit of grace in that regards.
I'm going on this one of I can't go against Fraxium again. You guys are all saying it. It's just I can't justify them not retaining. So
Forever champs.
Forever champs, I think. I mean, hey, I wouldn't be upset if we got new champs. Yeah, like you said, they can't hold them forever, but it seems like every time we think that they're going to get the titles taken off of them, they retain.
The only thing that's missing for me from this, for like it being a dead giveaway that Hank and Tank are winning, I don't get the sense of the buy-in from the crowd behind them yet. Like, I love what they did, even though, is it the best storyline? No, but they actually did a storyline. But the audience still isn't there yet. I feel like they missed one or two beats where if they would have hit those better, I think last week winning the gauntlet, you would have had that explosion and the crowd really behind them. So going into this, it's like, all right, we have our WrestleMania fan favorite, like how they got behind Natty and Tamina. Like, you know what I mean? They wanted them to win. Like, and that crowd was itching for them to go over in that match. Now they didn't do it, but still, like, it was to that type of build. I think that's the only thing that's missing that may make the payoff if they do win not as rewarding as what you would expect for like a first timer winning.
Understood. We'll move on to the NXT North American Championship. Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page.
For me, this will probably be my match of the night in regards to NXT. It's up there. I have one other one that I'm debating back and forth on. Ethan Page.
Sure it's not any of the ones that we've covered already.
No, definitely not. Ethan Page gets it. The slimy heel tactics, causing Ricky to get tossed from ringside, coming in, stealing another win off of somebody else that hit finishers before him. You know what I mean? Like, he plays it so well. Like, and Ricky is, for me, one of my favorites. Like, charisma, the aura, just everything off the page. I think these two both. This is a big middle finger match to the other promotion across the bow with these two. I think they're going to go out with the mindset to absolutely tear the house down, to shove it up TK's in that regards. But I got Saints retaining. I don't see him dropping the belt to Ethan.
Saints retaining. I thought a bigger moment would have been him winning it here off of Spears, but I'm cool with this.
Understood.
Saints.
Saints. You guys said everything about the
It's
match.
like what you guys said. He just got it. Then Ethan's getting a TNA title shot next week too. So it's like,
Which I love how he went about that too. Like
yeah.
he just
Like I'm looking forward to that match next week. So
he just
yeah.
gets it. Like,
All right, moving on to the ladder match for the vacant NXT Women's North American Championship.
somebody else can go first because I don't want to say everything and then just like take all the words out of everybody's mouth as far as what they're going to say about the match. So somebody else go first.
I don't have much to say other than give me Soul. It's Soul's time.
I'm going Lola Vice.
True.
She put in the work.
True.
It's time for her to get rewarded for it.
Did I see Soul just won the speed title? Is that who won?
Yeah, so
I think so. Yeah.
It's my only hesitation.
Yeah. I mean, I think I can make an argument for every woman in this match.
Yeah.
I mean, Kaylani's putting the work too. Zarya. I was very happy to see Thea come back. And I kind of feel like Thea's the underdog in this match that makes me want to root for her even more to win it. So let's do that. Flip the coin right now. Thea wins.
Still in my thunder there a little bit, Chris.
I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate that at all.
I like how they brought her back and immediately separated her from Chase U.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. There's just something about her that you want to get behind and root for. I don't know like what it is. Like I can't pinpoint it and say this is what she does best that makes me want to see her win her matches, but like she's just a ball of fire when she goes out there. Like
it's just
pure energy. Like she's on like 9 Celsiuses. Like she is just balls to the wall. Like, and I love that about her. Not to mention she's a, Pittsburgh 412 born and bred from Plumboro. So
but she also has talent.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
Would love to just pick her out of left field. But for me, if you want to restack the division and you want to put the North American title on a woman that would be a true force in the division, I'm going Zarya. Like I know her and Soul got the tag team theme working out, and I would have rather have seen them be in the tag team gauntlet for a tag team title shot if you're not going to put it on either one of them in this match here, right? I feel keep that momentum going with them two as a tag team because I like their look and them two together as like the misfit pairing that actually works when you see them in the ring. But yeah, give me Zarya. Let's just stack up this division because we'll get into it with the women's NXT championship match, but you're going to have 3 losers out of that match, and all 3, between the 4 of those, and you put Zarya as a 5th, you got a nice little combo between 2 divisions that you can work off of with different pairings that can take you through the summer and get you to, the next big show at SummerSlam in that regards, in my mind. So give me Zarya, even though I feel like Thea is a nice little Hail Mary call there, Chris. But Lola is probably the most deserving out of everybody based on what she's done over the last year.
Don, was it Lola your call?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we'll get into the NXT Championship. Oba, Churk, and Javon.
Bro.
The biggest mush. I can say my mush right here. That segment was awful. That was, again, their segments are terrible with all 3 of them. I despise it so much.
I just hate Javon on the mic. It's like mush mouth. So it just takes me out. In ring.
Everything
in
that
ring, he's gold.
Yeah.
Once he starts talking, bro.
Everything they were saying like 4 weeks ago is the exact same thing that they were saying 4 weeks ago. It sounded like, again, we talked about it earlier, sound like the NFL analyst for the draft saying the same thing. Shut up, please. done and I'm over it. That's my bush for this week.
There's been subtle things that I've liked about this. I've hated more than I've liked. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there are beats to this path that I've enjoyed. This is a glimpse of past, present, future of NXT. Trick is like the NXT 2.0. He's overstayed his welcome in NXT, in my opinion. Oba's the present, the force, the dominant champ, the guy that got hot shotted because of what he did in ring wise, and I've enjoyed him. He's gotten way better on the microphone than when he first started too. So, and then Javon's the future. Now, does that mean he's going to be a future NXT champ? I don't know if I would put that type of ceiling on him. Bell to bell wise, he works.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other stuff to his game that he has to improve on, which is why I say future, the mic work that Jason, you brought up. Like, we got to get him there. And again, looking at his age and everything else, like, that promo may not work for us, but that style of promo may work for the younger demographic that are watching.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I can't truly bash it for what it is. It just may not be our cup of tea because that type of generation is beyond us. You know what I mean? Like, do I think he needs to improve? Absolutely, but still, like,
sucks.
I don't need the mumble rappers in my pro wrestling. So
no. And when he held up that title, that belt was bigger than him.
I just need to hit the creatine a little bit. Look, I think Oba's done all you can do in NXT, and to me, like, bring him up. But on the same side to that coin, if you don't have a plan for him, then don't bring him up. Trick is the one. Trick, to me, really, this match is all about, like, piss or get off the pot. Like, it's time to actually show up, Trick Williams. Like, because you've lost me from where you had me, and I don't know if you can get me back.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have a dragon off for a Braun standing across the ring from you.
Nope.
The crowd's still into him, but if he comes to the main roster, that's all he's going to be.
Yeah.
The crowd is into
you're right.
entrance.
That's all he's going to be. He'll be the speed champion at some point.
I got Oba retaining.
Same.
I for sure don't have Trick winning.
Yes.
Not 3 times.
Would he be the first 3-time? Would that be the first 3-time champion in NXT, Trick? Or does Finn have 3?
I thought Joe was.
Finn might have 3.
I thought Samoa Joe had 3.
I know Joe had 2. I didn't think he got a 3rd one.
I know. Yeah, I remember Joe and Nakamura both had 2, but yeah, I don't know. Donald, you have the better memory, so you're probably right. But.
Mm-hmm. It probably is Finn, though. I forgot what time he won the belt back.
I see Javon as a champion in the future. Just not right now. Oba retains.
Round the horn. All right. What should be the main event? Let's hope it is. The NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie, Julia, Jordan, and Jada.
Go ahead, Chris. Kick it off.
I again, much like the other match, I could feel like I could justify any of these women winning it, but Steph just got it. And yeah, Julia's back, so she has justification of, it's her belt. But I just feel like we're not gonna. I don't want to see hot potato with a belt. So easy enough, Stephanie retains.
Donald?
Man, I'm a real believer in Jada.
Every week she just grows.
Yeah. Yeah, and her story, that she did on Tuesday too, it was just like, man, it was hitting the fields a little bit. I want to see her winning. I really do. Like she said, she's the only homegrown one here. But just like Chris said, you can't play hot potato with the belt like this.
That's
So Stephanie's going to retain.
3 for 3 right now because same sentiments to both of you.
All right, he's taking a drink.
Um,
Going to come out with.
So Miss Parker is Miss Parker in all capitals letters. Like the main thing with Jada, and it's been for a while now. It's believability. Like you just look at her and you believe what she does in the ring. You believe how she comes across, body language wise. You believe her words. You believe everything she says. And Tuesday, that was like the biggest takeaway for me. Like, I believe everything that she said on Tuesday in that video package. Not that I didn't not believe Jordan or Julia, you know what I mean? But like, Jada is just, it's believability. Like,
you keep saying believe, and somebody else is going to show up.
I know. With that being said, I got to go 4 for 4 here. There's no reason to have Stephanie drop the belt this soon after she just won it. She won both belts and had to relinquish one. So if you have her win 2 belts and claim that she's the first person to win 2 belts, even though Mandy Rose did it first, if you want to rewrite history, which WWE does all the time. But to have her win 2 belts, relinquish one, and then drop the title back to Julia in the first show afterwards, all within a 5 to 6 week span. Yeah, that's not a good look. I know they got here through different circumstances that were unforeseen, but no need to, drop and reset. Just pivot, stick with Stephanie. Her and Julia can go into a feud. Jordan will get her time, but I don't expect Jordan to be in NXT long, which is why I'm not picking her. I think Jordan will be here shortly and be up on the main roster sooner rather than later. So would not expect a long run from the juggernaut herself here. So I'll go with Stephanie, make it 4 for 4 with a clean sweep.
All right, Steve, kick us off. Match of the night. You can stick with what you said before, or you said you had another one in there?
Yeah, this was my other one. Since they announced it, I had this bookmarked as match of the night. But I think I'm gonna, as much as I love the women in NXT and everything that they do, I think I'm gonna stick with my original. I'm gonna go with Starks and Page just because I feel like it's gonna be a big FU moment. Just you want to sideline us and not use us. You want to have us sitting on a bench. Well, now look what we're doing, and this is what you could have had the entire time you had us. So, give me Page and Starks.
Jason?
Or Page and Saints. Sorry, I keep saying
give me Obertrick and Javon. They come through on triple threats. They kill it. So I know somebody else is gonna pick ladder match or something else. So I'll go with that.
Donald.
Give me this match here. Stephanie, Julia, Jordan, Jada. It's always going to be the women for match of the night with me on NXT.
Yeah. For that, I'll go with the ladder match then. So the three I'm looking forward to: the NXT Women's, the ladder match, and Ricky and Ethan. So,
and we'll all be wrong, and it'll be Fraxium against Hank and Tank.
Possible, yeah. Fraxium pulled it off before, so you never know.
I mean, listen, they put in match of the night with Chase U. I'm not gonna discredit them from going out there and putting on a banger. If you are keeping Stephanie. If you are keeping Stephanie and Julia, Jada, and Jordan as the main event, what are you opening the show with? Do you open and close the show with women?
I was thinking ladder match to open.
I'd go Hank and Tank.
Do that. Okay.
I was thinking Hank and Tank.
Get the crowd. That would get the crowd going too.
I would love for them to bookend this show with the women. I know that's and that
They
sounds
should.
like a shot to Oba and him being the men's NXT champion, but if you open with the women's ladder match and you close with the women's 4-way, that to me is like, and I could fill out the card and actually book out and slot the matches if you want me to, but I would definitely do that and think that that would be a really hot start to WrestleMania weekend.
I don't personally consider the countdown the start of it, but I mean, if you count the countdown with the women, you would be bookending it anyways. But
Give them that countdown overrun.
Yeah,
they roll over.
I hate whenever companies do that. All right, so that's NXT. Donald, you gave us your mush already, so let's keep it going. Jason, what was your mush for the week?
I don't know, just everything WWE right now, like between Triple H and just all the buzzworthy news about WWE is just making me just like, can we just get to WrestleMania? I'm tired of hearing about Roman, tired of hearing about H, tired of hearing about H in the interviews, on the podcast, breaking kayfabe and trying to keep kayfabe alive. It's just been annoying all week.
Cena.
I'm glad it just wasn't me. Okay.
Cena, Nick Khan.
Yeah.
It's somebody said their PR department took off during the biggest week of the year. But it was like this last WrestleMania season too, although it wasn't talked about as much because the road to WrestleMania last year was so hot.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of comments last year by big time execs that came out as well that was kind of like, why are we using this week and this platform to get these remarks off? Like, don't really understand it.
Nick Khan was definitely high on my list this week.
Well, supposedly Nick Khan is the reason why Sting's not inducting Lex Luger, because of the hatred and grudge that he has towards Tony Khan. He was not going to make that phone call and ask for Sting to come. As much as it meant to Lex, he wasn't going to do it. And I mean, look, we've all seen the clips all week long. Tony Khan was the original instigator in this instance, calling Nick Khan the Con Man. Way back when AEW first started 5 years ago. So yeah, I mean,
you wait till now to take your shot.
Hey,
say what you want about a certain somebody, but he would make the call.
Yeah.
If it was the right.
John Cena said a lot about that certain somebody still, and it was just like, okay.
I'm not trying to justify anything by that, man. But whatever it came to doing what was right for the product, there was a lot of times he would make that awkward phone call.
I don't know if he would have. I really don't know if he would have.
I'm just saying, give him a call. These wrestlers been wrestling longer than you've been in business. Talking about TK and Nick Khan.
While you were playing Usher, WrestleMania, whatever it was.
Yeah,
Usher.
WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, that could be up in the 8. That could be up in the HPI too, because I wasn't expecting a documentary with 10 minutes of Nick Khan. Don't give a fuck about that. Don't care. Talk about the event.
That has to be one of the worst documentaries they've produced in a while.
The worst.
Roman said on Pat McAfee's show that that's the WrestleMania that made him go, I want to be in the business. He said that today.
Really?
Well, Hogan sat him down at WrestleMania 9 and said, "Listen, brother, one day.
Well, look, I don't know if you guys watched McAfee today. I watched the whole show.
I watched some of it.
But Ty Schmidt was dressed up as our brother the entire show.
That was funny. It was so cold.
And he had Michael Cole break so many times with just one-line zingers that were tremendous, like absolutely tremendous. He was talking to Roman, and he was talking to, I think it was Roman. He said something about Jaded Lovers, and he's like, I know a lot about Jaded Lovers, brother, and Cole lost it. Yeah, it was just Tosh Schmidt is a true character and an entertainer, and he gets it, but it's just I saw a lot of people say they're done. They're not gonna, watch Roman Reigns matches no more. He's dead to them. Everything else.
Yeah, okay.
They said that about Cena too.
I think. Honestly, I don't know what to think. We asked for wrestlers to be open and honest with responses to questions, and not stay in character. But then we get open and honest answers to questions, and you immediately want to cancel people and just like, bro, it's like everything else. If you don't like it, cool. Don't listen to the interview. Don't watch the interview. Don't, you know what I mean? But like
we've said that before.
Chris?
If you have a problem with that situation, then stop watching the company, because that's all the company does. A certain someone is rumored to show up at WrestleMania this weekend. And are you surprised?
No, he comes to all the UFC events.
Exactly.
So why would he not be at WrestleMania?
It's the same company. It's the same buddy network.
Yeah.
Chris, what are the fans?
Fickle.
I mean, look,
I'm going to start doing Randy Orton. Stupid.
if you're not gonna watch something or be a fan of something because of how somebody chooses to cast their own vote, then you're not going to be able to watch anything.
No.
You're not going to be able to be a fan of anything. Do I agree with the vote? That's for me to know for myself and not for me to tell you, because I'm not here to spill what my preferences are. Like, it's, but at the same time, is that going to stop me from watching the show or enjoying the match that certain individuals are in compared to other individuals? No, it's not. Like, it's getting to, you gotta. That's not an identity flag, which it's become to be. So, am I going to cancel everybody for what they said this week? No.
Yeah.
But
for me, it's all freedom of speech. Hey,
Yeah.
you have the right to whatever. I will argue for both sides of it to keep their freedom of speech, and that's a whole other topic. But
look,
you still love Taker. You still pop when Real American hits.
If you don't want,
well, I don't know about that one anymore.
They pop though. They pop when this one of the music hits. Then you realize, it's this guy.
If you don't want truthful answers, don't ask questions.
This is true.
Pro wrestling is the only form of entertainment where this type of stuff comes into play.
Oh no, I disagree with that.
How? Everybody's expected to be the character that they are on screen all the time.
Oh, you mean
From
like
fan
that?
perspective.
Okay. That's not what I thought you were going with it. Okay.
Yeah. No, I apologize if I didn't make myself clear. But yeah, no, like you're expecting. Yeah, and it's like, no, these are actually people that have real government names that aren't what's on screen that you've heard them be called for 20 plus years. Undertaker is not the Undertaker. It's not what his driver license says. Like, he's not. Like,
I mean, Warrior did change his name. What he did say?
But I mean, you get what I'm saying. Like,
in public,
Keanu Reeves is not expected to be John Wick every single time he's out in public. It's Keanu
Reeves. There are
Reeves.
people that do expect that, though.
I expect to be Shane Falco.
There are a lot of people that can't just differentiate what they see on TV and in movies versus what the real public is.
That's true. It's horrible.
But that's the individual's problem, not the entertainer's problem.
No, agreed.
So, like, Was it a good look this week that all this stuff came out? Absolutely not. No, it wasn't. No, completely agree with you. That was a mush of the week. You took away from the week that was, but
Tony Khan talking about he talked about how they don't bench talent. 1, 2, you don't have anything to do with creative, so stay in your lane.
that was Nick Khan saying that they don't bench talent. But yeah, and surprisingly, the person that responded to call him out on his hypocritical take there was Sean Ross Sapp, who I never give credit for, and just because it's Sean Ross Sapp, but he brought up 2 prime examples right off the bat and said, no, you re-signed Natalya so she couldn't jump ship to AEW and be in the Owen, and then you brought Almost back from Noah, and he hasn't been seen.
Where's the Wyatt 6?
Well, no, that's an exception because Bo got hurt. Bo was injured for months with a shoulder injury. He's now clear, so I expect them to be back on TV after Mania.
Somebody said they was talking about Alexa with that. It was like Alexa came back and you did nothing.
But again, that's because Bo's hurt. You're not gonna if Holly's not there, then that defeats the purpose. So, but yeah,
where's Apollo Crews? Exactly.
Quando?
I mean, Andrade hasn't gotten much burn since he came back over. But there's other circumstances that play into Andrade to maybe as the reason why he's not getting burned as far as game time goes, because
the HPI.
The funniest thing I've seen this week is people kept posting like random wrestlers and like, as of now, so and so is set to miss WrestleMania. It's like the most random wrestlers.
I've seen some of that too.
We'll get in. I'm gonna pose this question to you. I'm gonna pose this question to you guys now, and we'll save it for tomorrow's show when we get into recapping NXT and talking about night 1 with predictions and everything. Who's the one talent in your eyes that's on? And this is WWE WrestleMania related. Who's the one talent on the roster that's not on Mania that should have been on Mania? And you can give your answers tomorrow. But I wanted to throw that question out there because there were a couple instances where I'm like,
I'll pull out my scroll.
Probably should be on this card, but yeah. So I was curious to hear what you guys say. So a little teaser question for tomorrow's show for day 2 of Podomania.
But again, WrestleMania should not be everybody is on the card.
No, but I
you can also give what we can take off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got who I would put on and who I would take off. So yeah.
All right, Steve, you want me to go so you can?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nick Khan was very high on my list, Jason.
The Usher.
Yeah, sure.
Now, weighing in at 245 pounds
in a green WrestleMania 9 shirt
from aisle 9,
What's
H, the Usher, Nick Khan.
It's the Usher.
My other one, whenever I saw this, luckily it's an independent, so I'm not going to give it the honorary mention. It's just going to be a footnote. Is Paul Walter-Hauser winning the Progress Championship? To quote Steve, what are we doing? But again, it's an indie title, so I'm not.
That's indie wrestling, baby. That's
this guy up because this is.
I don't know. A bunch of people being pissed about that.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is that
that's Stingray from Cobra Kai. Yes, Stingray from Cobra Kai. Look,
that was high up there for me. It's not my mush. But
he had a hell of a spot in Battle Riot, doing the elbow drop off the ladder to the table. But yeah, I don't know.
The dogs are mad.
Yeah, dogs are mad.
I think that translates to what are we doing?
It's not David Arquette bad. I'll throw that out there.
It's bad, but if it would have been a main title, then that's a whole other thing. But mine is going to kind of what going on with Jason. I'm giving it to Raw though this week. Raw was absolutely terrible. For that being their go home show, like it was an unwatchable show. And
2 weeks in a row. I said that last week coming in. The show was titled The Letdown last week, and they carried that letdown right on into Monday night, boy.
They did. Like, there was nothing good about that show, except Paul Heyman.
No grown name Marcano.
Him and that loaded man.
Yeah, the loaded man.
He's now from the Gulf of Mexico again.
Gulf of America or Gulf of Mexico?
He's billed from the Gulf of Mexico again, not from the Gulf of America, because when he was born, the Gulf of America wasn't around. So due to his age, they have to call him the Gulf of Mexico again. Michael Cole broke that down on McAfee show today. That was a legit Michael Cole quote.
We work the work.
Based on his age, he's from the Gulf of Mexico again.
You know what? I don't even want to give this more time. Steve, go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out what Steve was pissed off about. So I figured.
Oh, I think we know what he's pissed off.
I know
about.
now.
You got the ISO screen ready? Yeah, we tested it out earlier.
No, he's not getting anything special.
Hey, what are you doing? What are we doing? Segment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it is a whole. What are we doing?
It's like Mad Dogs. What you mad about?
It's the first hour of it's the first hour of Dynamite.
I'm glad I didn't watch this week.
First hour of Dynamite. Looking back on it, was Wednesday Night Dynamite a good show? Yes, it was. I will give its credit when credit is due. It was a good show on Wednesday night. If you watch it as a fan. Now, we come on here and we talk pro wrestling, so we got to watch it with a critic's eye to go back to people saying comments this week with Triple H, who clarified those comments that people were up in arms about. When he said, F off, don't be a critic, just be a fan. And he explained that in more detail today.
As he did it on a podcast, by the way. But
yeah. Yeah, go figure, right? I just look, man, if you're gonna and maybe I'm a little bit butthurt about this whole situation because it deals with two of my personal favorites. Two of my top fives. Okay, we're on the men's side and the women's side. Two of my top fives over, one longer than the past 2 years. He's been on my top five or on my men's Mount Rushmore for probably almost 5 years now, and that's Josh Alexander. And then Athena, who for me is top 5 women's wrestler on the planet, regardless of promotion, over the last 2 years plus. So, yes, maybe I am a little bit butthurt about how those two individuals were presented on Wednesday night. But if you want to know the difference between making stars and just having people in your promotion, Wednesday night is a perfect example of that. And I don't care what the after effects were as far as Josh Alexander is concerned. The after effects for Athena were 1,000 times worse. They at least gave Alexander some credibility back, but still. Look, if you're going to debut somebody as a wild card, first things first, he shouldn't lose. Shouldn't lose. You shouldn't come out the gate with a loss. Okay? Now, I had the argument back and forth with people on Twitter. I was like, well, you don't know that's you're asking for a logical argument to make sense, but yet what you're saying is not logical to us. We don't understand why you're upset. What are you mad about? He had a hell of a match with Hangman. He lost. He joined the Don Callis family, and now he's a bad guy. And my retort to that is, What has the Don Callis family done to give any type of credibility and relevancy to joining their group?
Not a damn thing.
They're not the Four
That's any
Horsemen. They're not the Four Horsemen. They're not Evolution. They're not the beginning stages of NWO. They've done nothing to establish themselves as a group that you need to worry about and pay attention to. Nobody's done anything in that group. Lance Archer, guess what? He lost to who? Kevin Knight, the new kid on the block.
That's what Lance Archer does.
So adding Josh Alexander to the Don Callis family does nothing in my eyes to reestablish Josh Alexander. But the thing that got me the most upset was not necessarily that he lost, although I would not book a debuting wrestler of Josh Alexander's credibility and accolades of what he's done in the business and who he was in another promotion to come in and lose for his first match ever with your company starting out. The biggest grind my gears moment was freaking Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. You have the music hits, the heartbeats come on, the flatline goes off, the name pops up on the screen, the crowd gives a pop. What are your announcers supposed to do in that moment? They're supposed to give credibility to the person coming out. They're supposed to make it seem like it is the biggest signing in pro wrestling history. They're supposed to talk this guy up to the moon and back up to the moon again.
Could it be?
Yeah, he's screaming.
You got Excalibur talking like this. Just normal, monotone. You got Tony Schiavone. Don't even know what the hell Schiavone said because none of it made sense.
Sting!
Tony's announcing is getting worse for me. I thought the same thing this week. He was offering absolutely nothing.
The people that are watching your show that do not know who Josh Alexander is, you killed him off in two sequences in his debut. The announcers didn't put him over, and he lost his first match. Why, if I'm a brand new person watching AEW, or if I'm only an AEW fan and haven't watched other promotions and I'm not aware of Josh Alexander, why do I care about him now? I don't. Because you decided that you're not going to make him the big deal that he's supposed to be. So that's where I say you have a wrestler on your roster. Now, the flip side of that coin, look at WWE. Look what they did with Penta and look what they did with Phoenix. You talk about superstars. You talk about aura. You talk about charisma. You talk about buy-in. You talk about want me to be interested in somebody. Look at the way they debuted both of those individuals. And oh yeah, did either one of those guys lose in their first match? No. You can't only book for your segment of the audience. It's a failed business model. Any business that's ever existed, if they only cater to one particular client base, when that client base leaves, the business goes under. And don't come at me with they've been around for 6 years and they've been the longest primetime show in TNT Network. Listen, if we want to celebrate division titles, by all means, AEW, get your celebration off. Because that's what you did on Wednesday night. You celebrated a division title like you won the World Series. WCW Saturday Night is the longest running wrestling show on TBS and Turner. You gave it the caveat of AEW's the prime time longest running. So you even Jimmy rigged the division title you won because you had to put a phrase into it to give the title. You moved your own goalpost to give yourself a championship banner.
This is something that I think young, maybe not necessarily young, but current talent needs to think of more. I thought after Dynamite this week, I thought a lot of whenever Stone Cold walked out of WWE in 2002. he didn't walk. He walked out for a lot of reasons,
Mm.
but the biggest issue to him at the end of the day, that was the last straw, was they wanted to put him and Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw with no build-up. Whenever it could have been a money match on a pay-per-view.
Thinking about
That-
the business.
That's all he said. This match has money written on it. Let's not give it away for free. There, you can talent. You can speak up. You're not being difficult if you speak up. If you don't think that you're being treated right or whatever, it's you have that option. Doesn't mean it's going to change anything. There is at the end of the day, both sides, no matter what promotion, there's one person whose decision it's going to be. But let your frustrations, if it is a frustration, maybe it isn't a frustration for Josh Alexander. Maybe it isn't a frustration for Athena. Maybe they're perfectly okay with what it is. But if it is something, speak up about it.
Bro, Dynamite, the whole show was Goldberg Hogan. The whole show. You gave away
I agree.
money. The whole show.
That's exactly what I thought. Yes, it was there was a lot of great matches on Dynamite. But that's all I could think of. You did Dynamite it made people pay for it a couple weeks ago, and you had a pay-per-view this week that you gave away for free.
So you do that with Josh Alexander. And then you have Athena and Mercedes, which should not be happening in the semifinals for the first time ever of the Owen Hart Women's Cup tournament. It should not be happening.
The final match.
It should not be happening for Athena's first match on Dynamite. It should not be happening with two women who are arguably the two best women on your roster. And I say arguably. Not definitively, arguably. You can argue for both of those being top two. But you have Athena go out there. Was the match great? Yes. Do I want to see them wrestle again? Yes. Was it everything that I wanted it to be from them too? Yes. Could they have made it a bigger deal and a bigger spectacle? Absolutely. But the thing, again, that if you've been watching wrestling as long as we have, that really drove it home as far as Tony Khan not knowing what the hell he's doing. Athena loses. And then you immediately cut to Tony Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And the attention is immediately on Storm and Mercedes. Athena might as well have been Becky Starship from Progress Eastern Championship Wrestling. Because what did she do? She did nothing. The match meant nothing because you immediately just ended it and went to your women's world champ and her and Mercedes having a stare off.
Yeah. It really has me worried that she's just going to become the female belt collector.
I'm not even getting into that conversation now. Like, we can have that conversation later on down the road. But you have All In coming up in July. It's in Texas. It's in Athena's hometown. Like, I have no faith in Tony Khan building back up. And I swear to God, if you put her on TV 3 weeks before All In and then put her in a title match, Tony Khan, listen, we're going to have major problems. Because it's rinse repeat on what you did right now, although it wasn't for a title. It was in the semifinals. But I have no faith in Tony Khan booking Athena back up to make me... Again, if you're a newbie or you only watch AEW, you don't watch ROH, why do I care about Athena? And why do I care about her being the longest reigning ROH champion of all time? I don't care. She lost, and you immediately went to the next big thing. And then to cap it all off...
Oh, we're still going?
Cap it all off, we get MJF bringing back the Ho Train in 2025.
I didn't see that yet.
So we have MJF in 2025 bringing back the Ho Train and offering women to the Hurt Syndicate. We all know what the Hurt Syndicate is, right? We all know who's in the Hurt Syndicate, right?
We've seen that meme a couple times.
Okay. But not only that, on top of women, you offered a bribe with a Rolex watch to get into the Hurt Syndicate. How is any of this good? You want to talk about playing up on stereotypes? You want to talk about Swerve saying AEW is the company for representation? Not in that segment? You're representing all the negative tropes in that segment. And I'm not going to spell it out for you. Go back and watch the segment. If you know anything about the tropes and the stereotypes, it's plain as day. It's like WWE doing every single Asian gimmick there was back in the 90s.
Just WWE period for like two or three decades.
But it's like, come on, man. For them to then double down on it and shoot a backstage follow-up segment with the Hurt Syndicate walking with the girls.
What have
and
I
then
said?
Leaving with the girls just like they did at WWE.
Like, I know we do a podcast and the point of it is to talk about wrestling, but again, there's only one thing that's going to make any changes in that company. You got to stop watching. Enough people stop watching, and when Turner actually goes to them like, listen, we can get better ratings with Big Bang Theory. That's when something will change. Until then, it's going to be the same thing over and over again, and you're just going to beat your head against the wall.
You promised me an alternative. You promised me to be different. You promised me to focus on pro wrestling. You promised me professional sporting aspect. You promised me wins and losses matter. You promised me all these things under the sun, and you sold me a lemon.
What happened, though?
I think Cody promised you that.
That's what I was going to go to, Jason. What happened? The person that was promoting that left. Somebody else took over. It's what happens whenever you get booking. The booker in charge now is completely different than the person that was booking before.
But then the dumbness carries over into last night with Collision.
I didn't even watch any of that.
John Moxley cuts a promo.
Oh, see, you lost me there.
Yelling at the Young Bucks, telling them, I don't like you guys. And if you stand in my way, I'm going to eliminate you from this industry altogether. So, hey, so much for the Young Bucks coming back at the pay-per-view and causing Swerve the title. Even though it wasn't to help the Death Riders, it was to make Hangman Page their best friend again. But let's just not worry about that storyline and beats presentation. And then you have an ROH pay-per-view coming up here in a couple of weeks, right?
Let's wrap this up.
No. I told you. ISO.
You've been on a while. We haven't even got to the good stuff yet. The week.
ROH pay-per-view coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Nick Wayne won the ROH Pure title last night. He's your new Pure champion.
Doesn't mean a thing to me.
Free for TV.
But we're putting it on Collision, apparently. Because no one can watch Ring of Honor.
Yo, like, I just don't get it. And then if you look at some of their forecasting as far as, like, cards and shows laid out over the summer and everything, they are just giving money away on TV and putting everything that should be saved for pay-per-views just on TV.
They need to go back to just having the 4 pay-per-views a year, but it's not going to happen. But it was much more entertaining then.
But all right, I'll cut the shit. I'll stop.
There's more.
Let's try to lower the blood pressure. What was your Mount Rushmore for the week?
Natalya
was
Neidhart. Natalya, the low-key legend.
Match.
She had a tremendous showing at Bloodsport last night. I saw a lot of these similar tweets. Where's this Natty been for 20 years? Why hasn't this Natty showed up on my TV screen? I didn't know Natty could do this. Natty has personality.
She wasn't happy to be there. That was the best part of it.
Bro, she's been telling you who she is all along.
Mhm.
And like for her, the showing she had from the entrance to the match to the setup afterwards for the next match for the NWA title, Natalia for me with the build and the videos leading up to Bloodsport and the one she dropped yesterday, yeah, Natty for me gets Mount Rushmore status. She was on point all week long, and Bloodsport in general was a tremendous show. I really enjoyed Bloodsport.
That was the only
Outside of
match I
the
watched, but
outside of the Natty match, Zack Sabre Jr. and Jonathan Gresham was my number one, and it delivered. It was probably one of the best Bloodsport matches that I've watched. But Donald and Jason, I don't think you would like that. Jay, I know you would hate it automatically just because of how Zack Sabre Jr. is. But those two in there trading holds and chain wrestling and doing everything that they did. Pete Dunne was tremendous. Like Shayna Baszler, Bloodsport, yeah. Karrion Kross and Kratos was just a hot slugfest. It was a really good event all the way around
I'm gonna have
last
to get
night.
back next week and watch that. The full thing. Yeah, the Natty match was great. It's looks like they could run it back or for her for NWA match that'd be awesome. But I love that whole thing. Like that was probably one of the best women's matches I've watched since the Stardom match a couple weeks ago. Just great strong style women's wrestling. I enjoyed that. That that was either gonna be my 1A or 1B. So since you did that one, I'm gonna give Chris Bay returning to TNA last night at Unbreakable. He they did a breakfast with him during the day, but then during the event last night, he actually came out, talked to the crowd. It was good to see him there, up and moving around.
Yeah, I thought Unbreakable was a decent to solid show. Nothing like overwhelmingly stood out.
I
But
felt like the triple threat match that was a letdown for
for the
me.
international title,
Yeah, the match itself, and they kept hyping it up that they're paying homage to the first Unbreakable triple threat.
with AJ, yeah, no, you
And
can't
it's
live
just
up
like
to that.
no, but like the three people they put in it was a guarantee couldn't live up to that. Like especially if with the stuff that you were doing with Bay and like I thought for sure Ace Austin was going to be in that match, but I mean after right before the match they announced for Rebellion whoever won the title would face whoever didn't get pinned, and I was right there. I was just like, well, Macklin and Young. I don't know which ones win the belt, but one of them's winning, and they're facing off at the pay per view next week.
Yeah,
I'm glad Macklin at least won out of the three. He was the lesser of the three evils for me, but
he's one of those individuals that I didn't think I would enjoy, like based on his WWE run.
yeah,
But like, if you look at his whole body of work in TNA, he's a solid talent. Like, is he going to fill the house up? No, but is he somebody that can go out there and have good to great matches from time to time? Yeah. Like, I would definitely have him on my roster and find a spot for him for sure.
I
So
mean
him
this is
being
a
the
fitting
first,
spot for it.
yeah, him being the first international champ, um, is a good spot.
Let's just hope they do better than they did with the digital title.
Yeah, that's one of those belts that'll be forgotten out of the lore of title history.
Yeah. All right, Jason, what do you got for your Mount Rushmore?
Dear Charlotte, what Gunther did, uh, what Gunther did Monday is exactly what you need to learn how to do. That man put on a hell of a promo, tune the crowd out, shut them down, stare down the barrel on camera. Perfect.
He's great at that, though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah,
He's going,
exactly.
here
Yeah.
we go.
But that's a side of Gunther we haven't seen
hmm
on the main roster. Gunther's been the calm, cool, calculated, collected,
hmm
and he went out there and let it rip, and became a little unhinged. So it's like, does that mean Jay's in his head, and making him do things that he wouldn't normally do? You know, I, like I said, there weren't. I forget which one he said it, but Monday was not a
Yeah, no.
bright spot at all. But Gunther was one of the few things that I myself enjoyed on Monday night.
Donald.
No Mount Rushmore for me.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No. If there's nothing good, I'm not gonna vote for it. Just like the Hall of Fame. If you ain't good on the list, I ain't voting. There was nothing this week. The stuff comes this weekend. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to this weekend. So yeah, no Mount Rushmore for me.
Shed a tear, but ain't got a Mount Rushmore.
Huh?
Almost shed a tear for Jada Parker, but ain't got a Mount Rushmore.
We talked about it already, so and that was a quick vignette. So.
Would you like to concede your time to the man down the corner?
You want me to keep going? Good.
Where do I begin?
Yeah. Good
Where
thing
do
I
I begin?
good thing I stretched before I got on the podcast.
Much like you're around the horn. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. No, I'm not gonna take up any more time in those regards. I will say the vibe and the feel around this WrestleMania is definitely different from last year's. Last year's was lightning in a bottle. They're not going to be able to recreate that. If we, a year from now, and we're talking about next year's WrestleMania and the build, if we look back on this year's, we may say, you know what, it wasn't all that bad. Like, they definitely got to adjust the timing of things. Gunther said it whenever he was interviewing with Ariel Helwani, talking about him and Jay, and he's like, you have like 10, 11 weeks to build up to a match. How do you pace stuff out? How do you keep people invested in that long to want to see who they wanted to win whenever it was first announced actually win? Like, what do you do to fill in that time frame? They definitely got to figure out something in that regards.
I don't know. It's amazing. They used to be able to do it.
Oh, you're giving credit to the other guy.
Hey, I'm just saying they used to be able to do it, and they did it without writers. They got a whole fucking team of writers. They shouldn't be able to come up with some better stuff than this.
Well, see, nothing worked until Hulk Hogan decided that he was going to create entrance music. He paid $500, got entrance music. The crowd went nuts. He went back and told Vince about it, and Vince said, "You know what? Everybody gets entrance music now." Mm-hmm. And that's how entrance music was created in the world of pro wrestling. So everybody can go home, and before you lay down and put your head on the pillow to go to sleep at night, thank brother Hulk Hogan for creating entrance themes and entrance music.
Creating everything.
Everything. Nobody was selling merch back then. Yeah.
Once that Survivor pound, it was like, yeah.
No, look, tomorrow, I don't want to pit night 1 versus night 2 as far as like rundown matches, etc. I'm excited for different spots on both nights. Hopefully it's a very fitting WrestleMania. Do we get the record breaking moment of Cena winning 17? Does EO, stick out and stake claim to the women's division and put Charlotte, Bianca, and everybody else on notice that, like, you guys have been so focused on each other that I'm the person that you should have been worried about? Does Jay finally get his moment that nobody would have expected? And is he able to cash in on all the work and dedication and momentum that he's built up over a 5-year period? So many twist turns. I'm sure there'll be surprises and everything else under the sun. I'm just hoping for a really good 2 nights of pro wrestling, and try to be a fan as much as possible in that regards. So
I was waiting for The Rock to show up.
That's the rumor going around town, is that he will be making his return along with Travis Scott, and Cody Rhodes said he has a receipt lined up for Mr. Scott. So
There's new merch, so much like movies, they spoil stuff with the merch sometimes.
speaking of merch, before we plug the rest of Podomania 5 over the next 3 days, WWE, and I don't know if this was at WWE World or one of the other events going on WrestleMania week, they are selling John Cena's in-ring gear from when he turned on Cody Rhodes and sold his soul to The Rock at Elimination Chamber. Anybody want to guess what the amount of money is that they're selling it for? Chris, if you know, don't say. And
I think I
We all
saw.
know.
We all
We
know.
all know.
We had this guessing game at work. It
Bro,
was a hot topic.
are you serious?
Was it 15,000?
15.
75.
We're
75.
jack that up by
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
times it by 6.
It's cheaper to meet John Cena.
No, that was a $25,000 breakfast. So,
You could have met Cena for 20. You could have breakfast with Cena for 25. You could have met Triple H and Lex for
And Lex Luger.
8,500 and bought a ticket to WrestleMania and still been cheaper than the 75 that they're offering that ring gear for.
hey, you got a cool 100,000. You know, you've seen his gear and meet him. Boom, you're golden.
Wear the gear to see Cena.
Did anybody watch any of the WrestleMania kickoff show earlier?
I did see Steiner math.
Yes. Braun Breaker did the Steiner math, and it was tremendous. I bookmarked it. I will retweet it out. It was tremendous. Loved everything about it, and he did it wearing a cowboy hat. I don't know. It just made me pop even more. Don't even know why. So that stuck out. And then the other thing, Priest and McIntyre got into fisticuffs on stage, and McAfee was playing double dutch whether or not to get in and try to separate them two.
Walk out there with an eye patch too.
I saw he showed up to a signing.
Yeah, Drew showed up to Priest's signing earlier,
Yeah.
and then Drew was cutting a promo, and then they just started going at it. Like,
At least they're making people interested in the match.
yeah.
Not me.
So yeah, but yeah, Cena's ring gear for $75K was like, yo, are you serious? That better come with like,
One.
yeah.
You know, don't even finish that sentence.
Pause.
All right, Steve, why don't you promote the stuff?
All right, we got anybody got any other quick hitters or anything else that we want to touch on before we get out of here?
Did I see them introducing the women's international belt in TNA?
No,
Was that legit?
I did not see that.
that was the men's international title, and then
Oh, men's international. Okay.
Ring of Honor introduced the women's pure.
Yeah, Ring of Honor, and that. You know who would have fit perfectly for the Ring of Honor Pure Women's Championship?
Layla Hirsch.
Exactly. Boom.
Oh.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
No longer on your roster. But that's another show for another day. So, with that being said, thanks for everybody for tuning in to episode 1 of Podomania 5 with your boys, talking everything that was the week in pro wrestling, giving you our Mount Rushmores and mushes of the week, as well as breaking down NXT. Tomorrow, early call time for them. I think they have to be at the arena at like 3 a.m. And the show starts at like 9:30. So it is, kudos to those guys and girls. They got to show up for that.
Yeah.
Taking a ladder off at 10 a.m.
Cold.
Yeah.
Just straight jump in the ice bath. and just
Yeah,
wake
bro.
up.
Not good. But hey, for the love of the game, right? So tomorrow, day 2 of Podomania 5, we will get into recapping NXT and going over night 1 of WrestleMania. Do we have a call time for tomorrow's show yet?
No.
TBD. We'll throw that out. Follow us on all our social medias. Keep you on your toes. How about this?
It's not early.
Just
It's
go
not
to our
early. It's
YouTube.
Our normal
it's not
time.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, just go. Yeah, we will not be on at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Okay, we will not
We
be
have a
on.
special surprise for you guys tomorrow.
However, just go over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button and check that bell so you get notifications when we do go live. So we'll be breaking down night 1 of WrestleMania as well as NXT. Sunday, we have our night 1 recap as well as getting into night 2 of WrestleMania. And then Monday, we have the WrestleMania Fallout prior to the Raw After Mania show for you guys. So 4 shows, 4 days, best in the business coming at you, giving you everything there is to give you as far as a WrestleMania recap and breakdown. No other show does what we do, period. Potomania 5 kicks off night 1 tonight. Tune in for night 2 tomorrow, as well as the other 2 days following up after that. Hit us up on all social media platforms at DunmarksPod. Email the show at dunmarkspod@gmail.com. Head on over to prowrestlingtees.com/DunmarksPod. Pick up some merch. We'll give you a live shout out on air. And with that being
20% off.
20% off right now. With that being said, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, Telemark. Until tomorrow, we'll catch y'all around the way.